Hello, everybody, students, those of you who are awakened, disconnected from the matrix, those of you who are in the process of doing so, those of you that want to learn how to do so, which it should be most of you, and those of you who are still stuck in a cycle that has you spinning around like in a washing machine and a dryer cycle uh, created by the matrix of which you've agreed to because you're participating in it. I've always said that going to the polls to vote for something is almost a waste of time. Oh, I'm a conservative. I'm a liberal. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. Come on, are you telling me there's only 2 points of view in this world? There's only two parties in the United States of America that we constantly, like robots and automatons, vote for and get very little change? What I'm trying to get across here is we're limited in our thinking in the matrix. We've got on blinders. We only see what's right in front of us. There's a whole field of vision that needs to open up, and as quantum physics is now and quantum entanglement is proving, it's more than just meets the five senses. Even right here in front of you right now, if you're not able to activate those spiritual gifts, I call it discernment, intuition, on and on, third eye. We've gotten into that before. But what was today's topic? It is really about something extremely important that I don't think I emphasized enough. Yes, I do have my sunglasses on, and I do have my zombie permit hunting cap. Make no doubt about it. The new John Wick movie came out, and of course I always call myself a spiritual John Wick. We are here to expose and dispose of a system that is no longer working. So, what happens? We need sunlight, grounding, water. We need high quality nutritional food, minus the vegetable oils, the sugars, and all the other crap that gets added into packaged and processed foods. We need clean water. We need clean air. But there is something that, if I had to pick a third one, other than air and water, because you need those to survive, and that is the subject of today, which is sleep. Now, I don't want to go into the science of sleep, alpha and delta waves and this and beta and theta and all this stuff. It's not useful right now. What we need is a low stress sleep environment. We need deep, restful sleep. I'm going to say it again. Deep, restful sleep. You go without sleep. Let's say you're supposed to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And for me, it's correct. But there were times I was able to go much less. There's times I've gotten more. It all depends on what's going on and what my body needs, because sleep is a rejuvenation cycle. It is also not only for the body, but also for your mental matrix mind, right? That interface that we call mind. Remember, mind, soul, mind, body. And that mind is the interface. It is not the thing. It is the interface. Everybody talks about the power of mind. How are you going to have power of mind? Again, you're going to use the power of your mind when your mind is broken. You're going to use the power of mind when your emotional system is not in alignment. You're going to use the power of mind when your energetics are not in alignment. Foundation, peoples. So sleep, just going and getting 6 hours of sleep when you're supposed to be getting 8, getting 5 hours when you're supposed to be getting 7 or 8, not being able to sleep at all, constantly interrupted sleep. And those of you, now I said this is about 8 or 9 of you who just had babies in the last 2 to 3 months. I've been through it. You're not going to sleep through it. Now, my wife at the time knew that. She was smart enough to understand the main producer in the family, the smart one, the one that goes out there and fights wars, the one that stacks the paper, the one that's putting the money in the bank. Maybe I shouldn't bother him. Maybe I should get up and deal with the baby. Well, there were times I would get up and deal with the baby, or I said, just put the baby in the room with us, and we'll leave it at that. But the sleep is interrupted. So I'm getting interrupted sleep from the baby. I'm getting interrupted sleep because I'm a physician that works at a hospital, and I'm getting constant calls. So just a night of having interrupted sleep and constant calls from the hospital is enough to throw me off for the entire next day. There are people, when they come to me with all kinds of mental aberrations, and one of the first things I'll ask them is, how are you sleeping? I think it's just a kind of routine question. I said, let's go back to that sleeping. This is not a routine question. This is a profound question that requires you to think about it. What is your quality of sleep? How often are you sleeping? Are you sleeping deeply? Do you awaken restful and recharged? That is the purpose of sleep. It recharges the battery. I call it the synergy cell. It recharges the mind, or clears the mind, right? And it clears the brain of toxins. Brain is one of your highest metabolic organs, and it has to get cleared. And so this brain fog and all this stuff that happens when you don't, or these phenomena or symptoms that you get when you don't sleep, it's because your brain hasn't been allowed to clear itself. It's extremely important that your brain be allowed to cleanse itself, and that you give it the things that it needs to cleanse itself. And that starts with water, clean water. Hopefully, water that's no longer in plastic. Hopefully, at some point, you get to the point where you're making your own distilled water. Or you're getting spring water in a glass bottle, but even that is tainted. Why? Because the groundwaters and the springs waters are not being tainted because of all the chemical runoff and because of the chemtrails themselves. Another subject for another video, for another time, not this time. Sleep. So important that 24 hours of not sleeping, you're beginning to become unglued psychologically. 36 hours, you're unglued. And beyond that, now you become psychotic. Your decision making is impaired. And so why would you want physicians 24 hours sleep deprived, 36 hours sleep deprived, making life and death decisions? And see, the issue with me, and I've told a few of you this who are not involved in the medical field, I said, I have to be on top of my game, because when I make a decision, when I make a call, when I'm talking to these nurses, when I'm talking to other doctors that are involved in the care of my patient, I say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, and people die. So there's a lot of stress with that. But you develop an emotional management system, and you learn how to cope with it. But it's almost impossible to cope with no sleep. So this is how important it is to get sleep. I cannot emphasize the metaphysics of it, the energetics of it, the restorative, regenerative properties of deep, restful sleep. Now, a lot of you are sleeping with your cell phone right next to your head. That's insane. A lot of you have a television in your bedroom. That's insane. No television should be in anybody's bedroom. I'm guilty. I used to have a television in my bedroom. I don't anymore. And I could easily have a television in my bedroom if I wanted to. No, I don't keep the cell phone in my bedroom. As a matter of fact, why? Because these, and I don't keep electronic devices like these surge protectors, because I've gotten an EMF meter, electromagnetic frequency reader, and put it next to these surge protectors, and it's registering off the hook. That goes away from me, or you can turn it off at night. So you want the room as dark as it can be. You want low stress. I don't know how you sleep with a partner who you're having severe conflict with, and you expect to get a good night's sleep with that partner. You're not going to get a good night's sleep if you're in conflict with your partner. Right? I'm talking about boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, etc., right? So, yeah, you don't want to go to bed in conflict. Otherwise, you will not sleep deeply. And now you got psychological things to work out even in your dream state, where your dream state could be working on other things. But you literally, I have treated people with just sleep therapy. Come in the hospital, I give you something for sleep. If you're depressed, I might give you something for the depression, but I'm not a big pill guy. There's not a pill for everything. There's a time to use medications and there's a time not to. Most of us either underuse them or overuse them because you don't have an idea of what is important and what is not important. So once I get someone 3 good consecutive nights of sleep, it fixes a lot of problems. It fixes emotional lability. It fixes your, it improves your psychosis if you came in psychotic. It allows your body to regenerate and detoxify. So after 3 days, you're already on the right track. But do most doctors tell their patients when they come in, you need 3 good nights of sleep? Oh, they got them hooked up to this thing, to IV machines that are beeping, to noisy people outside of the rooms, to complete insanity going on. It's just a busy place of a hospital, but I make sure to talk to my staff and to talk to other patients who are acting out, even if they're not my patients. And I don't care what you're doing right now, but there are other people in this hospital. We can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way, but you're going to come down and you're going to take yourself to sleep tonight. Everybody sleeps. And I want to leave it with this. I'll go into another sleep video as well. I mean, there's different levels to this, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. You must sleep deeply. You must sleep restful. Not doing so, you can become mentally unglued. Your attention, your concentration, your thinking, your judgment, everything becomes impaired. That's why truck drivers are on amphetamines. They can't sleep. And they got to drive. And so they're all on psychostimulants. I'm not saying all truck drivers, but these long haul guys are, excuse the good doctor while he gets a little fluid. They're sleep deprived. And I bet you if we looked at their quality of relationships and marriages, etc., they go belly up probably fairly quickly. Most people's marriages go belly up within the first 5 years. We're at over 50% now. That's insane. But I'm relating that back to stress and sleep. It's hard to sleep if you're under a tremendous amount of stress. And yet that's the thing that you need to do. At the time you're on your highest level of stress is at the time when you need your deepest, most restful sleep. It is a counterbalance to stress. It is part of your emotional management system or coping or emotional coping system. Like I said, I will talk about psychotherapy, how to use a psychotherapist appropriately, how to understand therapy. I was in a talk with some young nurses yesterday, and we talked about water, air, sleep, then food. That's high-level nutrition, of course, minus the sugar, minus the vegetable oils, and minus all the food additives and crap. And it's something that they have to understand at a very early stage in their career, how important sleep is. Because sleep deprivation, imagine as a child, there's so much conflict and chaos going on in your family where you cannot sleep, where you're in fear, where there's noise, there's abuse, there's an alcoholic in the family, there's a drug addict in the family, a mother and father constantly fighting. How do you sleep as a child? And your brain is developing. And then they give you crappy food. In school, crappy food. Like I said, we just looked at the breakfast meal for children in the public school system. 41 grams of sugar. I'll fill up a quarter of a bag. You look like a cocaine addict if we filled it up, which is much sugar. You guys think it's like, oh, it's not that much sugar. 41 grams of sugar to start the day is insane. And again, eating that kind of crap, how do you sleep at night? You don't sleep well. But you need to sleep well because you got so much crap that has to be taken out of your system. And a lot of you are having major trouble with your sugar addictions. I'm getting DMs, texts, calls. I've told people about the 30-minute consultation. You know how to reach me, DM me, leave me a comment, use my email. I don't turn anybody down. Nobody gets turned down. My problem is I probably give too much. But that's me having to set limits sometimes. But this is what I'm here for. This is my mission. This is my assignment. This is what I came to do. So a reminder about the literal importance of sleep and the damage of impaired sleep, an impaired sleep cycle, the problems that it can cause with a developing child's brain. And remember, I've already mentioned, even the human brain, the latest researcher is not fully matured until the age of 27. Can you imagine that? That's why I don't recommend you guys getting into serious relationships and marriages and moving in with one another and creating children until a few years after that. So 27 and a few years after that, then you probably have your some solid footing under you because at least your nervous system is 100% fully developed. And then you want to keep that nervous system functioning at the highest level And it starts with a good night's sleep. All right? So I want you guys to, I want everybody, myself too. I mean, I got up, was a couple of days ago, 5 o'clock in the morning. I usually get up about 7:30. The hell am I doing up at 5 o'clock? Just getting up at 5 o'clock, attempting to go back to sleep, not being able to go back to sleep for whatever reason. That usually means there's something going on within my own body that's keeping me up, so I had to deal with that. But that lasted, there was a hangover effect for the entire day. It wasn't until later in the evening that I kind of started feeling back to myself, and I actually was able to then go to my home away from home, which is the gym, and get in a pretty decent workout. So, yeah, a lack of sleep can disrupt your cycle, your habits, your healthy patterns. So you want to be able to get that deep, restful sleep. Bye now.